land of Autaugaville, Alabama.
So let me ask y'all a question. Imagine 2016, someone bring you and park you side the road.
VSE Media, along with 1186 Water, presents a V Network streaming series, Beyond the Water.
This can be a potential site for a water bottling plant.
Watch as CEO Marquis Forge takes you on a journey and tells the story of how God gave him a vision to change people's lives.
We was turned down by 18 banks. 18 banks told us, you're crazy, you're stupid, nobody ain't gonna buy no water, nobody ain't gonna do this. And you know what? After they turned us down so many times, it happened November 1st, 2016. We had dug a well. We knew the water was good. We had it tested. I told my partners, I said, listen guys, man, God told us to do this. I said, liquefy everything we got and let's make it happen.
We liquidated everything. We had a big house in Gardendale. We sold the house, 401. We gave it to them. Retirement, we gave it to them.
Open up a business is about not just making money, but having a product that the people will jump over mountains for and that will change people's lives. When God gives you a vision, the vision ain't hard. Keeping it to yourself is hard. Because you want to tell somebody, you want to say, look what I got, look what I got. And the first thing they say, you crazy.
Streaming on the V Network TV stream, March 21st at 8 p.m.
From the rich land of Autaugaville, Alabama, we present to you 1186 real artesian water. Smooth, crisp, clean, all natural, no chemicals, no additives. Average balance pH 6.9. The highest quality ultra premium water known to man. What are you waiting for?
This trip, I'm gonna take you back in time. This street right here is gonna go back in time. We're gonna go from present time, and along this street as we travel west, we're gonna go all the way back to the 1800s. So you're gonna see the architect, you're gonna see everything change to roughly back to the 1800s, 1840s, 1830s. And it's quite unique. And as you can see, everything out here is fairly new. And it used to be nothing but cotton fields. It's all these should be nothing but cotton fields. And now this land is leased out to these different organizations and everything. So when I was coming up, when I was a little boy, I'm talking about, you come this way, it was just wooded area. Wasn't anything out here. And that's how you can see how new the buildings are.
When did they start building here in Millbrook? When did they start actually putting things, or building buildings? When you say it used to be a lot of cotton fields.
It used to be, we used to have a Waffle House. It used to be a Waffle House and 2 hotels at this intersection. As long as I knew, for a long time, and maybe 2 gas stations, convenience stores. And then maybe 20, 25 years ago, they just start selling land, start leasing land, and we start getting different things. Like we got a Lowe's, I'm talking about a Best Buy. The Best Buy gone out of business now, but this mall on top of the hill, this shopping center over here, TJ Maxx, Office Depot, all these shopping centers, I would say they less than 10 years old probably. This whole shopping complex right here, less than 10 years old. All this right here is new. The theater may be 10 years old. But a lot of this is all new. You just didn't come out here. You didn't come out here. New banks, new hotels. Robert Trent Jones Golf Course is one of the stops for the LPGA tour, the latest. And I'm talking about it wasn't anything out here.
What would you say the ratio for black people to other races or cultures?
I would say that there's a large percentage of African Americans here. I would say probably 40%. It's a lot. It's a lot of others. It's a lot of, Caucasians here. It's very populated with Caucasians because here's it is. Prattville is a hub for great schools, and also we have several military installations over in Montgomery, and those military personnel, they come to Prattville to stay and to raise their family. They don't stay in Montgomery, they come to Prattville. So Prattville is like they suburbs of Montgomery. And so that's why they like coming out here. Prime example, you see how flat this is? It used to be nothing but fields. And we're in Elmore County, which is Millbrook. And Autauga County don't begin until this sign right here, this green sign that says Autauga County. Now when we pass the sign, we're technically in Prattville. So look how much Prattville have expanded. From that sign all the way out to the interstate. And so all of this right here, they don't have anywhere else to build. They have to go out to the interstate to build. So 20 years ago, it wasn't anything out here. 25 years ago, this was not here, period. Was not here. The furthest Prattville came was this next red light. That was the furthest came. This next red light, because I used to work at a Burger King over here, and it was like, people were like, you were way out there at Burger King? And now Burger King, look how far the town has expanded past Burger King. All these buildings, this Walmart right here wasn't here. These banks, hotels, CVS, none of this was here.
So let me ask you a question. If none of these places were here, where did the people work? Like, how did they earn a living if they didn't really have all of these other, fast food chains?
So again, Prattville tripled in size over the last 20 years. It wasn't that many people in Prattville. We was talking about it before. There was a lot of people in these other towns. Selma was much bigger than Prattville. There was a lot of other cities that was much bigger than Prattville. So now Prattville has grown into almost this metropolis of a city overnight. And, and it's known as, a good place you can go raise a family, a great place, low crime. I'm talking about if somebody get killed in Prattville, everybody know about it. It was like, you heard about it? We had one murder. Wow, what happened? I'm talking about, so the crime is here is very low. And when something happened, everybody knows about it. Everybody knows everything. The police force here, their revenue come off tickets and citations and stuff like that. It's not that much crime. This building over here where it says Club 4 Fitness used to be an old Kmart. Kmart went out of business. None of this right here was here. Aldi, all this right here was nothing. This was nothing. I actually worked at this Burger King on the left-hand side in high school. Same Burger King. It was one of the restaurants that was the furthest east on this road. That Burger King right there on the left-hand side. I worked there for 2 years. So as we move west, you're gonna see that everything started getting older. This used to be the largest shopping center on the left-hand side in Prattville, on the left-hand side over here. And you can see it how old it is. It says Alabama Thrift Store. That used to be the old Walmart right there. Behind the O'Reilly's and Zaxby's, none of that stuff was right there, but they ended up putting it in the parking lot. Bama Lanes, that used to be part of the old Walmart. So this is 1990, 1985 right here. That's where we are now. And we're going west, and as we travel west, I said before, we're gonna travel back in time. So all this is residential area. So people, they build west of the city of Prattville, and they built all these residential homes. And then the city began to grow, and they had to skip the residential part of the town and start building on the outskirts of town in order to suffice all the demands. Our first stop is going to be Winn-Dixie. Winn-Dixie has been a staple grocery store in the community for a very long time. This particular store that we go into, it's been remodeled several different times. And what's so important about this Winn-Dixie to the 1186 store is that when I was a little boy, I'm talking about very little, I'm talking about like 1980s, and we used to come to Prattville every Friday. You know, we stay out in the country, so, and I'm finna get country on you. When we came to Prattville, we used to say we going to town. We're going to town, because you didn't come to Prattville every day. You didn't work in Prattville, you didn't come to Prattville, you didn't come to the grocery store every day. So we came to Prattville, which we call town, every Friday. And we came to Prattville for two reasons: to wash interior and to buy groceries every Friday. That was our routine. And my mother was very particular about her meats. This Pacific Friday, we was at the Watch Interior, and we went by a grocery store. I'm gonna stop it for a moment, because this is the main stretch of the old Prattville. This is the main stretch. This is what Prattville, center of Prattville used to be. All the businesses, this is how big Prattville used to be. This is it right here. No bigger. Just big. You know, we had little stuff here. That's it. But anyway, getting back to Winn-Dixie, my mother, we went to the grocery store down by the Washateria, and this grocery store was not the best grocery store. A lot of time I tell people that it was a grocery store that minorities went to. You know, some people wouldn't be caught in the grocery store. You go into those older grocery stores that had a little stench when you walk in the door. There's nothing wrong with the meat. It's just the bacteria that's growing in the freezers and stuff. But this particular day, we was at this grocery store that we usually go to. And my mother got kind of upset. She was like, you know, I'm not buying. I don't want no bad meats. I don't like the way the meats look. So she was like, hey, we going to Winn-Dixie. And we was like, we going to Winn-Dixie? It was unheard of for us as African American to be in Winn-Dixie, because first of all, it was too expensive, and second of all, the people shunned upon it. You know, and what I mean by that, park over here a little bit. What I mean by that is, you know, our kind just didn't go there, period. So I was kind of excited. You know, I was like, hey, we going to Winn-Dixie. And we came here and we parked, and before we got the car, my mother, you know, give me a surprise. She said, Marquis, it's gonna be your responsibility to keep the grocery bill at $30. And I was like, what do you mean? She said, you gotta count and make sure I don't go over $30. If I go over $30, I'm gonna give you a whooping in the store, because I'm not gonna be embarrassed. So two things happened. We got to go to Winn-Dixie, but I think the most important thing out of the lesson was this. My mother turned me into a human calculator. I got real good with numbers. I was able to do a lot of adding and subtracting in my head. And the best thing about it, we never went over. Never went over. So the reason why that story is important, because January the 10th, 2020, Budweiser gave me a call. I was at the office in Autaugaville. I'm not there every day, but I was at the office that day. And they gave me a call and said, hey, are you in the office? I said, yes, I am. They were like, hey, can you come to Prattville? I said, what's going on? Me immediately thinking that it was a problem. They were like, hey, we need for you to come to Prattville, come to Winn-Dixie and Prattville. And I was like, what's going on? They said, come. And so Roger was there. He went as well. He was part of it. So we got a couple members of the team. We went to Winn-Dixie, came to Winn-Dixie and Prattville. And on January the 10th, 2020, Winn-Dixie authorized 1186 to be in the store. And it was right there in the front door. And they didn't understand it, but it hit home with me, because we went from not being able to shop in Winn-Dixie, not being able to afford to shop in Winn-Dixie, and being shunned upon, you know, because we was black, and, you know, they was thinking that we had food stamps, to having your product authorized in Winn-Dixie. So it was emotional for me, but, you know, and again, Winn-Dixie is not a racist company. They don't shun upon black people. I'm just saying, you know, the times. It was the times at the time. And so it's pretty neat. So let's go ahead and take a look at what 1186 is all about. Doing well?
So, Mr. Forge, when you're walking in here each time now, like, what's the thoughts that kind of come to your mind from then and now?
You know, honestly, it's surreal because they always changing the store. But it's emotional.
Yeah.
It's emotional because, you know, my mother never made more than $135 a week. You know, she never made more than $135 a week. And, you know, the generational gap between my mother and me,
Yeah.
you know, technically I should have been a bricklayer, you know, because I shouldn't have jumped from $135 a week
Right.
to where I am, to owning a water bottling company.
Right.
And, you know, and when we came in, it was sitting right here. So this was the promotional area. What make it even more special, watch this.
Yes, sir.
You see who on the end caps?
Yes.
You see them big brands on the end cap?
Yes, sir. Dr. Pepper, Sprite.
You see these big brands on the end caps, right?
Yes, sir. I see another big brand on the end cap.
This right here is a permanent home for 1186. Not
Wow.
promotional. That's
Yeah.
permanent.
Yeah,
That's mind blowing.
it is.
You know, whenever you come into Winn-Dixie, it's gonna be right here.
Wow.
They said they just got tired of people asking for it. So they gave it a permanent home
In high demand.
and high demand.
Isn't it something to go from don't let us go over $30 to Mr. Forge, we need more water delivered.
Yeah, it's unreal. I try not to think, I'm gonna be honest with you. It may sound crazy, but I try not to even come in here. You know, cause if I'm dreaming, let it just be a dream.
Yeah.
Let it just be a dream. Let me just remember this the way I seen it the last time.
Yeah.
And let it be a dream that I can tell people, guess what I dreamt of. You know, so
Because it seems so surreal.
it's surreal and it's unreal.
Yeah.
It's unreal, you know, and the price, I ain't gonna say the price don't matter, but the people love the quality of the water.
Right.
That's 1186.
That's 1186.
That's 1186. That's 1186.
Awesome.
That's
I love
1186.
it.
People, you know, associate end caps with big brands. This is where everybody's buying, and you look down that end cap, you oh, I got it.
Right.
And the people that cashier say, you know, they get customers say, hey, we can't find 1186. They say they don't even look, they just do this right here.
Just point.
So the lady said, hey, on the end cap, right down the front, you can get all you want. And so you can't see it, but I got chills on my arms.
It's an awesome accomplishment. And then also with Food Outlet.
Food Outlet, the same way. I'm talking about, man, they really gave us an opportunity. And they really pushed Winn-Dixie because Food Outlet start pulling, oh, this right here, listen to this. Food Outlet starts stealing Winn-Dixie customers because there's a certain type of customer that comes to Winn-Dixie.
Right.
And there's a certain type of customer that won't go to Food Outlet.
Right.
Just like there's a certain customer that will go to Walmart and there's a certain customer that'll go to Target or Costco. Mm-hmm. So what happened was Food Outlet, they start, you know, Food Outlet was one of the only spots that carried 1186.
Right.
Now, this right here is amazing. Watch this. People start going over to Food Outlet buying 1186.
Wow.
And the people that were shopping, when this come, they were like, hey, we got to go to Food Outlet to get 1186. And while they was in Food Outlet getting 1186, they were like, you know what?
Let me go ahead and shop.
I might as well go ahead and shop. Them prices ain't that bad. They start buying their groceries. And the manager of this store called corporate and said, I go to church with some of my customers. Mm-hmm. And I noticed they ain't coming to my store anymore. And when I see them at church, I was like, hey, where you been? He was like, we go across the street to get 1186. And while we over there, we just shop. Y'all need to get 1186.
Wow.
And he banged the door down with Winn-Dixie. That's a corporate account.
Right.
This is a corporate account. This is not a local account.
Right.
This is a corporate account. He called corporate in Jacksonville, Florida. I need 1186.
Wow. That's awesome. That's Black history at its finest. Such a great accomplishment. Thank you.
You can grab right here or wherever you.
Okay, thank you.
Mona, you asked the question, how does it make you feel? You know, imagine as an 8-year-old boy. Imagine this. Imagine as an 8-year-old boy, 9-year-old boy, going into Winn-Dixie and being a human calculator for his mother because she didn't want to be embarrassed of going over. And this is a true story because after I graduated high school, she made my sister do it.
Wow.
You know, my sister said, she gave me $40. She only gave you $30. And we talk about that. She said, you know, Mama loved me more because she gave me $40 to play with. She gave you only 30. But anyway, you think about this. Think about as a young boy going into a grocery store, counting and just really being very obedient to what your mother's telling you. And as you're in the grocery store counting, adding and subtracting, because she was like, I was like, hey, Mom, we had $30. And she went, well, I ain't got no milk, I ain't got this, so you need to take this out, you need to take this out, you need to take this out, because I got to have this and put this back. You got to add and subtract the whole bill. Right. Imagine doing all that work and you not knowing the store saying, I'll see you soon. You'll be back. I'll see you soon. You don't even realize what you're doing. I'll see you soon. So here it is. We're traveling further back into the history of Prattville. Look at this. Look how the town transformed. We back in the late 1800s now. Look at how the town transformed. This is now Daniel Pratt Historic District. Daniel Pratt was the founder of Prattville. He was an entrepreneur, industrialist from the New Hampshire, New England area. He was a apprentice of Eli Whitney. Everybody know who Eli Whitney is. He's the creator of the cotton gin. So Daniel Pratt had an idea that if he can move the cotton gin closer to the cotton fields, they would lose less cotton in transportation. So Daniel Pratt came to Prattville, came to Autaugaville County, and he founded the city of Prattville. And you see all these houses. These houses are from the 1800s. All this antebellum, New England type houses. All this is Daniel Pratt Historical Districts. Some of the new bricks are some new buildings, but they had to be approved that they didn't take away from everything else. So Daniel Pratt came to Prattville. The town is named after him mid-1800s, 1840s, 1839, I believe. Named the town. This is one of his workers' houses right here, but it now is a museum. But right now, we're in the town square of Daniel Pratt. This is his square. This was his old West and New England town. All these buildings are original buildings from the 1800s, except this one over here on the right-hand side. All these buildings are original buildings from 1800. Look at these bricks. They done paint over some of them, but these are original buildings from the 1800s, all down through here. Look how close they built, all of them. This is 1850, 1840, 1850, 1860. And he built all of this out of this manufacturing right here. This is his manufacturing building from 1830, 1840. This is the Daniel Pratt gin shop. He was such an innovator that Prattville didn't have power, didn't have electricity. He came in and built a dam and powered the whole town. And we're gonna get out and we're gonna see this dam. You're gonna see all this. This was his warehouse. The warehouse got burned down. Half of it got burned down. You can see where the fire is on the building right there. It went all the way to this other warehouse way down here. There was a flat area. He came in and he dammed up the Autaugaville Creek, which is fed by no other than artesian water. There are artesian water plants all around this place. Prattville is known as the Fountain City. At one point in time in 1933, there was over 400 artesian wells in Prattville Pratt didn't have no municipality system. They used artesian wells to, everybody got water from artesian wells. So there wasn't a pipe going from house to house. They would go to a well and get your water, and it was the best water you could have. So this creek behind us is being fed by hundreds of artesian wells that are still running 24 hours a day, 7 days, I'm talking about they still running. It's always running. And so what Daniel Pratt said, he was like, hey, this is a perfect water source. I'm gonna dam up this creek and put a hydro dam in. And he put a hydro dam in, and the hydro dam, it powered his whole town. His whole town and the houses that was a part of his compound. This is one of the turbines from mid-1800. This is one of the turbines. It turns, and as it turns, it generates power with a generator. So this is just some facts to back up what I said. This is called Heritage Park. Daniel Pratt Historic District overlooks Autaugaville Creek, manufacturing complex, New England style village, 1839. Pratt was founded, and he patented the town after New Hampshire. Chose this site for the cotton gin because of the abundance of water power. The many artesian wells gave Pratt the name Fountain City. Some of the buildings and built here have been in continuing use since 1850. And this is part of the Historical National District Museum. This is archived in Washington, D.C. This right here is the bust of Daniel Pratt. Town named after. Water flowing from this fountain is coming from an artesian well. Been flowing. This fountain right here is fed by artesian well. And as you can see, the creek behind you, fed by artesian well. And what they're trying to do, they're trying to preserve his building because it's so dilapidated. So right now, what they're trying to do is they're trying to preserve it. You can see the crack going down the middle right there. The building is coming apart. They got plastered on top of it because it's leaking on the inside. But this building right here was in use like late 1900s, late 1990s. People were still working in that building. They were still producing gin shops in there.
What's the significance of the locks that are on this fence?
So a lot of people come down here and take wedding pictures, and they put the locks on there as a keepsake.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so they'll say, hey, I came down here, this is where we tied the knot, keepsake.
Glad you pointed that out.
Yeah, you'll have a lot of people come down here, they'll put their date on it. And you see a lot of people down here taking wedding pictures. They take wedding pictures right there because it's just so, the scenery on a clear day, I'm talking about it's beautiful today as well. But just to know that this was here in 1800.
Right. And still today.
Yeah. These are the same red brick. They shipped them in from New England. They'll have a festival, like a Daniel Pratt festival in the summertime, and they'll bring out the old cotton gins for people, and they'll gin the cotton, show you how they had to gin the cotton on site. It's crazy. We came down and gave water to everybody. It was like 500 people. They had this guy came out with a cotton gin, they put cotton through it, and they'll show you how they gin the cotton. With one of the first cotton gins.